Denny Hassett wasn't the horse person in his family. Growing up in northeast Kansas near Kansas City, his father farmed with horses and competed in pulling contests. His sister did gymkhanas. Denny played football and basketball and ran track. As a young man, Denny took a job at gas service company in Topeka, where he ran a side boom and a Caterpillar and was on a welding crew that fixed gas leaks. In the late 1950s, he accompanied a friend to a few horse shows and was suddenly inspired to work with a draft quarter-horse mare raised by his dad. Before long, he was winning the reining at the local saddle club shows, and by 1962, getting requests to take outside horses. In 1970, Denny quit the gas company and began training full-time. Doing everything, he says, paints, quarters, and apps in pleasure, reining, trail, and halter. In 1972, he married Dana Sullivan, who rode the Bridle Path hack horses and helped him train the performance horses. Denny was known for his success in the reining and the Western Pleasure. Denny won the reining at the Congress twice. Peppy Boy, too, was second in the Pleasure at the Congress and later won the Versatility. His last reiner was Hand Down Socks, who was second at the World in reining behind Al Dunning and Expensive Hobby. Denny placed ninth at the World in Western Pleasure in the late 1980s. He thought it would be his last ride on the rail in Oklahoma City. Denny is one of the few trainers who was shown at every World show since the first one, held in Lexington, Kentucky in 1974. Back then, the best a horse could do for a show record was an honor roll title or a big win at a stock show or state fair. At that first World show, halter horses wore buck-stitched halters and sometimes even a saddle. Impressive won the aged stallions, and Sonny Go Lucky won the 2-year-olds. In 1989, Denny hung up his saddle and decided to specialize in halter. He never got a judge's card so he could focus on showing and taking care of his customers. And that he did. Debbie Brem had horses with Denny for 34 years, including She's One Classy Kid, a youth and select world champion mare that was also grand at the Congress. Denny had an eye for choosing great prospects. His barn was a stepping stone for world champions Spanish Array, Kid Clue, Impressive Dandy, Mr. GQ, GQ Eclipse, and River City Renegade. In the mid-'80s, Denny hauled Ross Work and Highberry and Luke Castle and Go Lucky Valentine. The two teenaged boys were intent on learning everything they could from Denny and told fellow young competitors they planned on being halter trainers just like him. In 1996, a horse-related accident prompted Dana to focus on her impressionistic oil paintings of the life and the landscape she loves. Her work is featured in a gallery. In 2010, Denny was honored with the AQHA Don Burt Professional Horseman of the Year. At the World Show in 2014, after a long career in the saddle, Denny wanted to show in the pleasure one last time. At 74, he rode longtime customer Debbie Brem's Sure Feels Good, prepared by Rusty Green, in Junior Western Pleasure. Denny Hassett fit and showed more than 45 World and Reserve World Champions. In 2016, back and hip surgery kept him out of the World Show pen for the first time in 42 years. When asked about retirement, he says, "No way, you can't retire from your hobby." Looking back, would he do anything differently? Yes, he says. He would have figured out how much he loved this long before he was in his 20s.